My name is Oliver Jones. I'm a custom bike builder and designer. So on this go round, we have partnered with Harley Davidson again, and I'm building a custom Pan America, which frankly is very new to me. I've never messed with what's pretty much new to everyone. The RevMax motor's brand new, the bike's pretty much brand new. The adventure story has been told of this bike. I feel like there's room for more of a street bike story to be told. The last build that I did with the motor company was a 2020 Lowrider S. And initially, when I first saw the Lowrider S, I wasn't really in love with it. But I do like a challenge, and I really thought, given the opportunity to make this bike sort of my own, what I wanted to do was sort of go the opposite direction and highlight what was really good about the bike and not stray too far away from the original designer's vision of that bike. Basically put my spin on it, nip and tuck things, add a lot of really small details in places that overall change the look of the bike, but not any one thing stands out too much, so that things have a real OEM factory look to them, something as if the motor company could produce. And the way I did it was, by doing these tricky little things, and like I said, just lengthening things, changing angles, shortening things, widening things, and really using a lot of OEM Harley parts, and just really keeping true to sort of the traditional Harley sort of aesthetic, and harkening back to a lot of those small details that are on a lot of the older bikes without directly just copying them. I wanted to give this bike its own personality, but obviously with nods to the past. And in the Pan America build, I'm sort of going the same way. Generally, I stick to vintage bikes. I have built one or two newer bikes, but primarily choppers and older Harley Davidsons. I do venture into 80s, 90s, 2000s performance sport touring bikes. I do quite a few of those, and try not to get confined to one thing at all. The next adventure coming up soon will be a coast to corner and back. Looking at the bike, there is a big bar and shield logo on the side, but sitting on the bike and riding the bike, and I've had 100 Harleys probably, it doesn't necessarily feel like a Harley to me. It doesn't really sound like one, it doesn't really feel like one, and again, it's a new silhouette, so it's sort of new to everybody. We're sort of starting from zero. I don't really have a baseline to go off of, so I think this initial trip will teach me a lot of things about the bike and about where I want the bike direction to go. Once you ride it, it's undeniable, like it's a great bike. But I just like the sound, the touch, things that are sort of like inherently Harley, like chrome details and leather and things like that that go all the way back to basically, to the beginning. Again, some small styling cues, some nods to older bikes such as Dyna T-Sports and sport touring bikes from the past, because I think that bike really will do well in a sport touring environment. I know right off the bat before I leave, just from riding in a few hundred miles, I am changing the seat to something that is a little more, let's say, comfortable for all day sitting. Adventure bikes, you're up, you're down, you're off the seat, you're on the seat. This is something that I want to be able to put some miles on, but also give it a more sort of aggressive, curvy, contoured line. I knew I wanted to add something for really long stretches with either highway pegs or something where you could sort of stretch out just a little bit. So I am adding a provision for that just temporarily. It may go into the final design, it may not. But in general, I mean, wheels are gonna be different, tank is gonna be different, seat's gonna be different. A lot of the accessories, the front fender, the bars, the risers, the saddlebag stuff will be all modified. I think that like adding that hand-built touch to especially a new bike like this is interesting. Everything tends to be, you know, molded or plastic or, you know, CNC'd, and I think like just adding natural fibers to it and things like that may be an interesting thing to explore. The only really way for me to really make this my adventure bike is to just get out there and do the miles. I just want to make the bike as best that I can for someone like me or me.